Hello and welcome to day number 13. We made it. Today is our practice day, and we are going to practice the entire yoga sequence from the beginning to the end. So, this is the day where we get to connect everything together, including the meditation routine that we learned yesterday. So, let's take a moment here and recap what we know. So we are going to start by preparing ourselves for our practice. We're going to proceed with a few rounds of the warrior breath just to help us focus and connect with our inner self before we jump into the practice. Then we're going to jump into the practice by doing some sun salutations or yogic warm-ups. Then we're going to do our standing sequence to the left and to the right. Then we're going to proceed into back bends, that's right, followed by forward folds and inversions. And then after that, we're going to introduce the meditation routine into the sequence. And after that, we're going to stretch out on our back for some shavasana. Now, this is a lot of stuff to cover. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to slightly compress everything. So what it means is that transitions between poses will be faster. We will be holding poses a little bit less in order for us to fit into a reasonable amount of time, somewhere between 30 to 35 minutes. Now, this is the end product of this course. We're putting everything together in place. So you are welcome to come back to this sequence and you can repeat it and do it as many times as you wish until you remember it very, very well by heart, and you can actually practice it without me guiding you. So, with that being said, let's begin. As usual, have a block or couple of blocks. I'm sitting on one right now next to you. We are going to use them today. Situate yourself sitting in a cross-legged pose, hands on your knees, either palms facing up or palms facing down. Let's roll back our shoulders, slide the shoulder blades down the spine, lift up our chin, and make sure that our ears are level with the shoulders. Close the eyes and take a moment to connect with the breath. Now let's start activating our warrior breath, this breath that creates this distinctive HA sound in our throat. So pretend that you are, first of all, constrict your throat and pretend that you're fogging up the invisible imaginary glass or mirror with your exhalations, and that you're breathing in through an imaginary hole in your throat, pardon for the graphic image, when you are inhaling. This action should generate this distinctive ocean breeze, ocean waves, or HA sound. Let your mind gently settle into that sound. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, I'm going to invite you to come back to that breath throughout the practice. Just a few more rounds, sitting still, spine is straight and tall. Noticing how the breath is starting to slow down our busy mind. And on the next exhalation, let's open our eyes. And we're going to proceed into our mountain pose, Tadasana. So slowly coming up, you're going to come up to the top of your mat. I'm going to go sideways so that you can see me from a side view. Let's find our Tadasana. Feet are hip width apart. Let's make sure that we have a neutral pelvis. So work with the rotation of your pelvis. Let's roll back the shoulders. Palms are facing forward. Lift up the chin and then bring ears level with the shoulders. You may need to engage your abdominal core to make sure that you're nice and straight. 3 breaths like this. Preferably using our warrior breath. And on the next exhalation, we're going to proceed to our warm-up. Let's inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale into flat back. Folding forward, exhaling and stepping back with our left leg coming up into a low lunge. Exhale, hands go back to the floor, stepping back into plank. We're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale into baby cobra and transition through tabletop into downward dog. Holding it for 1 breath and then stepping forward with our left foot. Inhale into low lunge on the other side, feeling the stretch in our right hip. Exhale, hands go back to the floor. Let's bring the back leg to meet the front. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reach to the sky, connect the palms together and bring them to your sides. Without any delay, let's go into round number 2. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, fold forward and stepping back, this time around with the right leg, dropping the knee, inhaling into low lunge. Exhale, hands go back to the floor, stepping back into plank, lowering all the way down, and then inhaling into baby cobra. Exhaling, transitioning into downward dog. 1 breath here. And then stepping forward with the right foot, dropping the back knee. Inhale into low lunge. Very well. Exhale, hands go back to the floor. Let's bring the back foot to meet the front. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reach to the sky, connect the palms together, bring them to your sides. Round number 2 is done. Round number 3. Inhale, exhale, folding forward. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward, stepping back with the left leg. Drop the knee to the floor. Inhale, feeling the stretch in our left hip. Exhale, hands go to the floor, stepping back into plank. Lowering all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. 1 breath here. And then step your left foot in between the hands. Drop the back knee. Inhaling into low lunge. Exhale, hands go to the mat in front of you. Let's bring the back foot to meet the front. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, connect the palms together, bring them to your sides. We are feeling warm by now. So we are finished with our sun salutations. Let's do our standing sequence from the mountain pose. Inhale, hands go to the ceiling. And we're going to step sideways and then turn to the left into warrior 1 for 3 breaths. Front knee, nice bend in the front knee, 45-degree angle with the back foot, holding this for 3 breaths. Shoulders are relaxed and the shoulder blades are sliding down the spine. On the next exhalation, transitioning into warrior 2, bending the front knee. On next exhalation, elbow comes up to your knee, inhaling into an extended side angle. Next exhalation, back into warrior two. Let's grab that block, place it on the inside of the front foot. Inhale, straighten the front knee, reaching forward as far as we can, drop in the hand. Inhale into triangle. Don't forget about the warrior breath. We want to activate it, and we're going to continue breathing like that throughout the entire practice. I know we will forget to do that, so I'm just here to remind you to do that just the same way as sometimes I remind myself. Holding this pose for one more breath. Bending the front knee, shifting back into warrior two, and then transitioning into high lunge. So the back foot is on your toes, hips are facing forward. You're sinking a little bit deeper into that front knee, feeling the stretch in your right hip flexor. And on the next exhalation, we're going to propel ourselves and find ourselves in Tadasana. Inhale, hands go to the sky, stepping sideways. Let's grab that block, bring it to the other side. And then from here, we're going to transition to the right side and take up our warrior one. Inhaling here, sinking a little bit deeper, finding your warrior breath. 3 breaths in warrior one. Transitioning into warrior two. Hips are facing sideways, shoulders are relaxed, but arms are engaged. Making sure that the front knee is not drifting inwards, opening it to the side. Next exhalation, elbow goes down to the knee, extended side angle, breathe into the area in between your ribs. Feel the entire side body, left side body opening up, stretching through the fingertips all the way down into your toes. Shifting back into warrior two, extending the front knee, reaching forward, dropping the hand to the block, opening up into triangle. Next exhalation, the front knee bends. We're coming back into warrior two and then shifting into high lunge. Once again, the back foot is on your toes, sinking a little bit deeper, feeling the stretch in our left hip flexor. Shoulders are relaxed, shoulder blades are sliding down the spine. Our gaze is directed forward. A bit of balancing going on here for just one more breath. And on the next exhalation, let's step to the front of the mat into our Tadasana. We have done our standing sequence. Let's keep moving. Inhale, stretch to the sky. Exhale, folding forward. We are going to step back into plank, drop the knees, wide knee, child's pose for just one breath here. And then from this pose, we're going to extend all the way to lying on our stomachs. We are ready for our back bends. Remember, we're going to do 3 sets. Extending the arms in front of you, thumbs are pointing up, feet are engaged, connected with each other, pressing up with our arms, shoulders, and head only. Coming up for 3 breaths. And releasing back down to the floor. We're going to do the same thing with legs only. So hands are on the floor, coming up with the legs for 3 breaths. You can have the forehead on the floor as well, or you can be gazing forward. That's 2 breaths. And this is the third one, releasing back down. Now, same idea, but everything all together, arms and legs. 3, 2, 1, coming up. 5 breaths. And releasing. Excellent work, everybody. We are getting ready for another back bend. Cobra. Hands are 11 and 1 o'clock. Remember, the further away they are from you, the easier the cobra is. So find something that works for you. Pressing the feet together, engaging the glutes, coming up into cobra. Slight bend in the elbows. We are looking directly in front of us and slightly to the ground, holding this for 5 breaths. Engage in the warrior breath. Maybe adjusting the position of the hands to play with the tension and the pressure on the lower back. Excellent work. On the next exhalation, slowly returning back to the mat and shifting back into child's pose. Very, very slowly, very gently. 3 breaths here to release the lower back. On the next exhalation, coming up to sitting on the floor, and we're going to transition to lying on the floor. Knees are bent. We're going to do our bridge. So 3 sets. 2 sets are dynamic, 1 set is static. Each set will consist of 3 movements. Ground the palms into the floor. Feet are flat on the floor as well. Coming up with our hips for 1. Inhaling here. Exhaling, bringing everything back down to the floor. Inhaling for 2. Exhale down. Inhale for 3. Exhale down. 1 breath here. Inhale through the nose. Let it out through the mouth. Getting ready for set number 2. Inhale, coming up with our hips. Exhale, hips go down. Inhale for number 2. Exhale, hips go down. Inhale for number 3. And exhale, hips go down. 1 breath in between. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Now let's get ready for the static. We're going to hold it for 5 breaths. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Coming up. Holding this for 5 breaths. Feel free to interlock your hands behind your back. Press the elbows and the shoulder blades into the floor to give you a bit of a deeper back bend if that is what you desire. Otherwise, stay with your palms grounded into the floor, holding this for just 2 breaths, squeezing the glutes, trying to smile, and on the next exhalation, lowering everything down to the floor. Excellent work. Let's bend those knees and bring them into our chest, crossing them at the ankles. Roll around on the lower back. Uncross the ankles, bring the knees together, arms go into T position, as on the letter T, and then let's drop the knees to the side. Our left shoulder blade is grounding into the floor, and the knees are stacked on top of each other. Feel free to put a block in between your knees or maybe under the bottom knee if that is something that will make this pose a little bit more easier for you. Holding this for 5 breaths. For some additional goodness, feel free to rotate your neck to the left side. Feeling the breath flowing down all the way into our lower back And we are engaging our warrior breath at the same time. This engagement of the warrior breath and that distinctive HA sound that it generates gives us something to focus on during the practice. So this is something that we can come back with our mind to if our mind gets distracted. One more breath in this pose. Excellent. On the next exhalation, shifting the knees back to the front and then through the center to the other side. This time around, we're going to ground through the right shoulder blade, and the head, or the neck rather, rolls to the right. Spinal twists. They promote the health and longevity of our spine. Very, very important. Directing our breath into our lower back. And on the next exhalation, bringing everything back to the center, and let's shift to sitting on the floor. Excellent work, everybody. We are going to start getting ready for the forward fold. So knees are straight, toes are flexed in, and we're going to press with the palms next to our hips, making a nice 90-degree angle between our torso and our legs, pressing in, getting longer in the spine, holding this for 10 breaths. Yes, 10 breaths. If your abdominal core starts shaking, this is a good sign that you are doing this pose correctly. Perhaps you may even want to let go of your hands for some additional up-leveling. This makes this pose a little bit more difficult. Almost there, 2 more breaths. And on the next exhalation, let everything go. This was difficult. This pose is deceptively difficult. Now let's grab a block, and we're going to sit on the block, and we're take our butterfly pose. So Baddha Konasana, opening the feet like you would open a book. And remember, the further the feet are away from your groin, the easier the pose is. Lengthening through the spine. We're going to bring our belly button into our feet. Folding forward. The elbows exert a very, very light pressure on your knees. Remember, we want to keep our back as straight as possible, focusing on bringing the navel to the feet as opposed to rounding through the shoulders and bringing our head to the feet. Holding this for 5 more breaths. Remember, the forward folds are meant to be held a little bit longer than the other poses, at least in my understanding of yoga, so that we can give the body ample time to stretch out the muscles of the back and let the gravity do its work. On the next exhalation, slowly shifting up. We're going to continue sitting on the block if you feel that it is helpful in the forward folds, otherwise just remove it. Extending the legs in front of us, flexing the toes in. Inhale, nice, tall, healthy spine, reaching to the sky, and then dropping the hands next to our sides, bringing the navel into our thighs. folding forward. Hands go a little bit closer to your feet. Maybe you can grab your feet and you can slightly pull yourself forward. That's a bit of a bonus. Otherwise, being patient and holding this for 10 breaths. Or you want to be bringing the navel into your thigh. Keeping the back straight, trying to avoid the urge to curl into a ball and get your head down to your knees. Breathing in into the area where you're experiencing the tension. Once again, activating your warrior breath. Generate that HA sound in your head. One more breath in this pose. And we are coming out of this pose. Let's get rid of the block. So we've done our forward folds, and now it's a perfect transition for our inversions. Remember, the first friendly inversion that we're doing is legs up the wall pose. So situate yourself next to the wall and then get the legs up. Get yourself a little bit closer maybe. Hands go to the sides. Complete relaxation throughout the entire body. No need to tense everything here. The wall is here to support us. Maybe you want to place the hands on your chest. Closing eyes is also highly recommended in these types of poses. Holding this for 10 breaths. And as you're holding this pose, see how, do a quick body scan. Notice what's happening in your body. See if anything is shifting or anything is changing. It could be the feeling of the blood rushing away from your legs. It could be a change in the way you breathe. It may be some tension in your lower back. Two more breaths and we are out of here. Out of this pose, I mean. Excellent. Let's slowly come down to sitting on the floor. And then we have one more inversion pose, plow pose. Grab a block and place it under your sacrum so that you have a nice firm support. Hands go by your side, bending the knees, extending the legs. You can stay like this for 10 breaths, or maybe you can grab your seat and pull it over your head. That's another option. So holding this for 10 breaths. Once again, you can close your eyes. Engage your warrior breath. Three more breaths. And on the next exhalation, slowly releasing all the way back down to the floor. Let's slowly come up into a sitting pose for our meditation. So, easy sitting pose. Take a moment here to lengthen your spine, close your eyes, hands on your knees. We've done the warrior breath throughout this practice, so it should be very easy for you and natural to connect with the breath. Let's take all of our mental energy and focus and bring it into our eyes, our sense of sight. Notice the movement of your eyeballs, the flickering of your eyelids. Now let's take all of that mental focus and energy and bring it into our ears, our sense of hearing. Notice the quietest sound in your environment. And now notice the loudest sound in your environment. Let's take all of that mental energy concentration, bring it into our nostrils, our nose, our sense of smell. Notice any subtle sense in the air, the temperature and the humidity level of the air. Now let's take all of that mental energy and focus and concentration and bring it into our mouth. Notice the position of your lips, the position of your tongue, whether your mouth is moist or dry. And finally, let's bring all of that attention and mental energy into our skin. Notice the connection points between your hands and your knees, your sits bones and the mat, your feet and the floor and the mat. Notice any sensations on your skin. Notice how the air feels against your skin. And now let's cycle through all of the five senses, starting with our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin. 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 Let's take all of that energy, keep holding on to it, highly focused and highly alert. Let's visualize two letters, letter O and letter M, for the word or the sound of the word Om. Now start repeating, pronouncing this word, the sound inside of your mind. Put it on repeat. Feel free to substitute the word with another word of your choice. keeping your focus and attention on the repeating of the sound Om, or whatever word that you chose in your mind. Keeping it focused, and if your mind drifts away, gently bring it back into the sound. If the mind drifts away, bring it back into the sound. On the next exhalation, let's release our focus, our concentration, and stop the sounding of the word. And let's become an observer of our mind and our body. Not trying to control or judge anything that's going on, simply observing our state of being. And on the next exhalation, slowly let go of everything, and let's stretch out into our Shavasana. Slowly transitioning to lying on the floor, palms are facing up, letting the feet naturally splay to the sides, closing the eyes, letting go of the breath, letting go of the sound of Om or anything else that you were doing in your mind, relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the muscles of the jaw. Letting the body become heavy and melt into the mat. Remember that Shavasana is a bridge which allows the benefits of the yoga practice to cross into the world and our lives beyond the mat. So it's very important that we hold the space for that bridge. We can visualize the benefits of the practice, soak into every single cell of your body, slowly but surely, accumulating there day after day, week after week, month after month, infusing your body with youthful energy, molding and shaping it for efficient, functional movement, making your joints more stable and your muscles more flexible. Now, if you have time to spend in Shavasana another 2, 3, 4 minutes, do stay. But if you have to go, let's bring the arms over our head, lengthen head to toe, clench every single muscle in your body and hold. Exhale, release. Slowly, one hand at a time, rolling over to one side of our body. And then slowly, with the eyes closed, shifting to sitting. Let's bring the hands to our knees, bow the chin, and we're going to conclude this guided practice with an inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's do this together, you and me. Inhale and exhale. Open your eyes, and this is it. This concludes this guided sequence. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to come back to it anytime, and I will see you tomorrow for our final day of the program, day number 14.